What is going on, everybody? What is going on, everybody? My name is JeffLightsyJr. This is the Victor Formation Sports Show right here on Jeff
You
Lightsy
are the
Jr.
only
YouTube.
participant in the conference.
Ooh, okay. Get out of here. Jeff Lightsy Jr. YouTube, Facebook, and wherever you get your content. Come on into the room. Come on into the room because we've got a whole lot to discuss. Let me know that you're in here with us live. We got some comments in here already. Just got a commitment from a linebacker from Hoover. Yeah, Ryan Clark. Yeah. They want to. We'll get to what we're going to talk about because some big names from JSU have hit the portal. Nyles Gaddy, Debo Hayes. But why? Why did they hit the portal? What is going on, everybody? Oh, I see the names are finally popping in. My computer's moving slow. But we'll get right to that and more right after the bumper. Stay tuned. What up, good people? What is up, good people? Let me know that you're in the chat. What is going on, Jack Tam? What's going on, Thamalis? What is going on, Quentin? What is going on, Sabrina? Yes, Veronica. Did I read that on Twitter? Yes, and I'm going to get to what I read on Twitter about the major big names hitting the portal from Jackson State. What it means for JSU for the season, because we're not going to act like these aren't big losses. These are huge. I told you guys, I keep the energy all the time. When there's huge losses, we got to talk about them, just like we talk about when there's huge additions. And losing Debo Hayes, losing Nyles Gaddy, those are big losses. So this was the thing that I saw on Twitter that kind of stunned me. I did not expect to see this, and I'll give you whatever information that I have. This was it. It says Jackson State defensive lineman Nyles Gaddy is in at the transfer portal. 6'6", 250-pound Tennessee transfer. Was second on the team last year with 7 sacks. Now, if you remember when Deion first decided to leave for Colorado back in December, Nyles actually hit the portal back then too. But then he had talks with his coaches, had talks with people at Jackson, understood that he had a great opportunity there at Jackson State, and decided to come back to JSU. Now's the guys, as it says, it came from Tennessee. He is a guy that comes from the SEC, comes from Power 5, comes from that cloth, and really wanted to make an impact at JSU. He's gotten his degree. He's graduated. He's made an impact on the team, and I thought he was going to be one of the ferocious leaders of the Jackson State defense in 2023. Well, now he has decided to hit the portal. But why? Why would he decide to hit the portal now? Right? Like, he's been there all spring, dominated the spring game, looked really good all spring. The defense, I told you guys, I gave my evaluation of the spring game. That defense was what stood out clearly. That was clear and evident. So why would he hit the portal? Well, what happened? He entered the portal yesterday, April 30th, which is a Sunday. Well, what took place over this weekend? The NFL draft took place over this weekend. And what took place during the NFL draft? Only one black college player was drafted into the NFL over the weekend. Only one HBCU player was drafted over the weekend in the NFL draft. That didn't, from the information that I have gathered, that didn't bode well for Nyles. One of the things that JSU, Coach TC Taylor, Coach O, and that staff had kind of their talking point, their convincing point to get Nyles Gaddy back into the fold after he initially entered the portal was that he could get drafted out of Jackson State. And the thing is, he really can. He's talented enough. He's got the size. He could really get drafted out of JSU. But seeing only one player go in the draft this weekend from Jackson State, from what I understand, that didn't play well with neither Nyles or Debo. Because as I said, as it says in the caption, Debo Hayes, starting lineman, big-time returner, he's also in the portal. This was Debo's announcement to let everybody know, hey, he's in the portal. It's just pretty simple, pretty short, pretty sweet, pretty cut right to the point, not beating around the bush. I'm in the portal. It's that simple. I'm in the portal. And from what I understand, I'm not these young men, I'm not their advisors, I'm not their parents, I'm not anybody. But from what I understand, the NFL draft and the lack of black college athletes drafted in the NFL draft weighed heavily on Nyles and Debo. Now, that to me is unfortunate because, gosh, these guys are good. And they were two cornerstones on both sides of the ball for the 23 Jackson State team. They were two cornerstones. These were two guys. With all the other guys on the team, you're kind of expecting them to be one way. You're kind of expecting to get this out of this person. You're expecting to get this out of this person. With these two guys, Nyles and Debo, you knew what you were going to get. You knew you had a really solid offensive lineman, and you knew you had a guy that was looking to get drafted in Nyles Gaddy, and that was going to turn it up a notch, and that was looking to have a 10, 12, 13, 14 sack season. Now that's gone. That's gone. That's gone. A guy that you hope to have a 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 sack season is now gone. Or potentially gone. He still can come back to the team. Obviously, when you enter the portal, you have to exit, or sometimes you don't exit, but you can also remove your name from the transfer portal. And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate if, now once again, this is just what I'm hearing. It doesn't mean, that doesn't make it a true statement. That doesn't make it fact. That doesn't make, it's just what and that's unfortunate because they could have really, I think they would have had a great chance to get drafted. But here's also to their, I don't want to say their credit, but think about these players. And this is a stigma that is facing all black colleges. This is not specific to Jackson State. It's not even just specific to HBCUs. Only 11, 12 FCS players got drafted in the 2023 NFL draft. And that's not good for FCS, period. Not just HBCUs, but we're talking about HBCUs today. When you're Nyles or you're Debo and you see a guy like Isaiah Land, who had 20 sacks and was the Buck Buchanan Award winner in 22, and you see a guy like Aubrey Miller, who had back-to-back 100 tackle seasons, SWAC Defensive Player of the Year, Senior Bowl invitee for both players, and they're getting vouched for by Jim Nagy, and they're getting invites to the Senior Bowl, and they're making plays in said Senior Bowl, and those guys don't get drafted, and then you see the numbers, not just at black colleges, but you see the numbers of FCS guys drafted dwindled to only like 11, 12. That's disheartening. And it's unfortunate because it's a disservice to not just the young men who I think are talented enough to get drafted, are good enough to play in the NFL. It's not just a disservice to them, it's a disservice to the institutions. Because now the institutions, now you have to re-recruit your guys you already re-recruited. Because guys, the transfer portal window didn't close until Sunday. And so guys were able to watch Thursday, Friday, Saturdays of the draft, day 1, day 2, day 3 of the draft, and see one player from a black college go, see 11, 12 players from FCS teams go. That's it. But they'll see some of these same players that may have played 2 years, 3 years, 4 years at a black college, go 1 year at an FBS college and get taken. 2 years, 3 years, sometimes 4 years at the black college, play 1 year at the FBS college and hear their name called on day 1, day 2, or day 3 of the draft. That's an uphill battle you're fighting. You're fighting an uphill battle. I mean, it's tough, man. It is very, very tough. It's very, very tough. And those are the issues, once again, not just facing Jackson State, but they're facing FCS schools in general, period. And you can see Nyles Gaddy, his dad, awesome. Oh, he has an awesome dad. And he's a big time supporter of JSU. This was what he tweeted after the Nyles hit the. He said, "No more ammunition. Left all out of bullets." Meaning, yo, I've sold them. The coaches have sold them. But it's hard to convince a young man. It's hard. It's hard. And that's unfortunate, not just for the dad, not just for Nyles. It's also unfortunate for JSU because, once again, it's not to say that if you go to JSU, if you go to FAM, or if you go to Grambling, of course you can get drafted. But the NFL is doing you, your conference, the FCS teams a disservice when you're not drafted. You see these guys put in hard work, sweat, dedication. And some of these guys are going to make the roster. Don't get it twisted. If not in year one, some of these guys are going to be NFL players. Let me not get it twisted. But the fact of the matter is, not hearing their name called on draft day hurts the institutions. It just hurts the institutions, and there's no way around it. And in the short term, for Jackson State, it's detrimental losses. In the short term, for JSU, it is some detrimental losses. Let's see everything. Looks like take away the recognition. It sucks, man. Darius Leonard, Javon Hargraves, relay second rounder state. Yes. I mean that's the thing. That's what I'm not getting at that. Oh, nobody from an institution, a black college institution, can get drafted. No, it's not what I'm saying, and I would never say that. But I'm saying it is tougher when you have guys who played their career, had great careers, and they're not rewarded. They're simply not rewarded. And for the short term, for Jackson State, you lose two cornerstones. You lose two valuable pieces of your team, two major pieces. You're talking about an offensive tackle and a pass rusher. You're talking about maybe your best offensive lineman and your best pass rusher just hit the portal right before the portal ended. The portal closed on Sunday at 5 o'clock. Nyles and Debo hit the portal on Sunday. You just lost two of your best players on your entire football team. That is going to hurt. And folks like FAM, like Grambling, they see blood in the water. They think that it's their opportunity. You can call in here, give your thoughts on anything. 727-731-8723. 727-731-8723. But they see blood in the water. If you're FAMU, why wouldn't you think you're the best team in the SWAC? Why wouldn't you think you're the best team in the SWAC? You lost Land and Xavier Smith. Absolutely. Those are major losses. But you bring back your quarterback. You bring back your head coach. You have your same system on both offense and defense. And throughout recruiting, you've done pretty well. Bolstering your offensive line. Getting a guy like Cardell Thomas, who we'll have on the show tomorrow. A highly rated prospect, spent his last 4 years at LSU. You brought in some guys on the outside. You've recruited the state of Florida like crazy. So, of course. Now, someone said 2003. I think that's the last time FAMU beat Jackson State. Absolutely. But this is a new day and age. This is a new day and age. Going Power 5, it doesn't. No, it does not. You are absolutely right. But when you see these staggering numbers and you see tweets like this one from Jim Trotter, so shout out. This is what Jim Trotter had to say. This is a guy who worked at the NFL Network and covered the NFL for decades, right? Jim Trotter tweeted this out. It says, hold on. It says, let's discuss. The original tweet says, can't wait for Jim Trotter to weigh in on the lack of HBCU players being drafted this cycle. Because remember, there's only one HBCU player that was drafted this cycle. So let's discuss only one player from an HBCU being drafted. As much as I would love to call it disrespect, fact is, based on convos this morning with GMs and agents repping HBCU players, NFL teams are not pulling from small school level. Some numbers, and he continued on, only 10 players from 125 FCS programs were drafted this year. Only 41 out of nearly 1,200 selections were from FCS schools over the past 4 drafts. 41 out of 1,200 picks over the last 4 drafts came from FCS schools. And so when you're a Nyles Gaddy, a Debo Hayes, you're seeing this stuff just like I am. Just like I'm showing you, they're seeing this stuff. And unfortunately, at times, they can weigh on them. Trotter goes on to say, according to some GMs, teams are going to send out scouts, sometimes multiple scouts, to the top Power 5 schools during the year, sometimes multiple times. But if an FCS player isn't on the prospects list provided by the 2 primary scouting services, teams might not visit the school. It goes on to say, it there becomes even more imperative that the pro liaisons for the FCS schools to contact the scouting services to ensure their prospects are listed. Another issue, some personnel people have standards. Others might call them biases. They look for a player at certain positions, things like height, weight, speed. If an FCS prospect lacks in any of those areas, some GMs move on without a closer look. And then he goes on to say, can we expect things to improve? Doubtful. Power 5 schools now view FCS programs as feeder systems and use the transfer portal and NIL money to attract established FCS players to a bigger and more visible platform. Deion just did a such move from Jackson State to Colorado. And then he goes on. I mean, this is Jim Trotter giving the harsh truth, or his truth. Bottom line, regardless of how many HBCU combines and legacy bowls the league and conduct sponsors, the draft numbers aren't likely to improve for HBCUs or small schools in general. Yo, this was heartbreaking. This is the first time I actually read this. I read the first couple of tweets. I didn't read all of these. This is actually kind of sad. like for him to go out and say, and this isn't, and trust me, Jim Trotter is a graduate of Howard University, if I'm not mistaken. So he's not poo-pooing on the black colleges. He's a black college advocate. And the way he's kind of phrased this and the way he's kind of set this thing up is that he don't think this is going to get any better. And you know, if he feels this way, people are telling the kids that. People are saying these same things to the kids. That's tough. Yo, that's tough. Numbers on the screen, 727-731-8723. If you want to get in here, 727-731-8723. Yo, this was the first time I actually read every single tweet of this thread. And Jim Trotter is kind of sad. He's kind of got a little meek, a little dreary in here. And so when you see players like Debo and you see players like Nyles hit the portal and you read tweets like what Trotter put out, that's tough, man. That is tough. It said, Bolden had elite measurables, 4.3 speed, special teams guy. If you're that guy, it'll happen. Absolutely. If you're this type of, yes, this was what worked in Isaiah, because Isaiah Bolden didn't have better tape than Aubrey Miller, right? Isaiah Bolden didn't have better tape than Aubrey Miller, but Isaiah Bolden is 6'2". Isaiah Bolden ran a 4.3. Isaiah Bolden weighed in at 200 pounds, and Isaiah Bolden can return kicks. So if nothing else, teams know that they have a good kick returner, even if he ends up being nothing at DB. They have a guy that can play some special teams and a good kick returner. This wasn't the case for an Aubrey Miller, who was a little undersized to be a middle linebacker, and he wasn't invited to the combine, so I don't really know what all of his athletic numbers weren't the best. Man, this is rough. Hit that thumbs up button, by the way. And so it begs you to ask, with these losses, now I got to ask, I'm listening to myself. Now I must ask, for you all at home, does this change? Do you think this changes Jackson State's win total? Losing to Debo Hayes, losing to Isaiah Bolden, do you think this changes the win total? I think it could. I think this could affect your win total. Now, how you restock the cupboard matters. And when you lose players, how you're able to replace said players obviously matters. But can you go out and get another Nyles Gaddy? A guy that can have a double-digit sack season? Can you go out there and get another starting, right tackle, left tackle, whatever Debo is playing? Is there a good enough, to that talent? I don't know. I don't know if there is another Nyles Gaddy out there in the portal that you can go get. Is there another Debo Hayes out there in the portal that you can go get and add to your football team before the start of fall camp? Let me read some of your comments. Oh, we got a call on the line. Because this is, you hung. You can go ahead and call back. 9762. You can go ahead and call back. Because this is tough. Win total changed. Hold on. I think. But it's not just, so someone said, why is this conversation? It's not just about Jackson State. It's about two of their major players leaving and why they may have left. What's going on? You're on with Jeff.
Hey, Jeff, it's Gabriel, man. How you doing tonight?
I'm good, Gabriel. What's on your mind?
Okay, yeah, those two, I didn't expect to see them, jump back in the portal like that. And like you, I kind of figured it was because of the draft. Now, I would say this to your question. I would say this to the Jackson State fans. In the words of Aaron Rodgers, RELA. Because we still have people coming, in the summer.
Yes, absolutely.
So, so we just have to wait and see, what they're going to do. Yeah, could it affect the loss? Yeah, it could. But I still think Jackson State is going to be competitive. And I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna get on off of here. Now, say to the rest of the guys on the team, especially all the other HBCUs that don't make it, or don't get in as a what you call it, undrafted free agent.
Yeah,
that's always the XFL, USFL. So you go there, hey, make the team. Get you some good showing, good tape. NFL is watching.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Absolutely, man.
Appreciate all right, man. Appreciate you, man. Go.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Man. Absolutely, man. It is. Those options are definitely options. It's a way to play football and get paid to play football. What's going on? You're on with Jeff.
Yeah, Jeff. How you doing,
What's going on, man? What's on your mind?
Hey, man, look, I posted in your comments a couple of times, but I really do truly think that HBCUs need to partner with these PWIs so they can be swapping these players out, because at this point, it's pretty much a minor league for the NFL. These players getting all this money, they're trying to get to the bigger bag. And, I mean, look, I can't speak for Jackson State, but a lot of those other HBCUs, their alumni is really not kicking out the money like Jackson State alumni. And it benefits the school and the students if they just go ahead and swap.
So partner up how? What do you mean though? Partner up how?
Okay. For instance, you have a lot of players sitting on the bench at these PWIs where they're not getting the playing time. Send a lot of them big offensive linemen, a lot of them defensive linemen, all them other players, send them on down to the HBCUs, let them get their reps in. Let them get their games up. It'll bring a lot of eyes from all over the globe, man. And then, I mean, hey, at some point, those players will get to where it's time for them to come up. When they come up, PWI will be sending some more back down to them.
So you think the HBCU should be used like a minor league system for the PWIs?
Hey, at this point, if you can't beat them, you have to join them.
I don't agree with that one, but I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you calling in, man.
Right.
Appreciate it. Nah, I'm not a fan of that at all. No, that is a horrible idea in my eyes, but, I'm just here to listen. What's going on? You're on with Jeff.
What's going on, man? It's Bakari. What's going on, Jeff?
Talk to me, Bakari, man. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I think this probably will hurt their win total, but the goal still the goal. Starting in Atlanta, finishing in Atlanta. I don't know, but the last caller. See, I'm gonna quote any leadership that teaches you to depend on another race is a leadership that will fail you. Now, I hope this dude ain't leading nobody. But this is why, Jeff, when you said you think it was a good idea to go to that camp, I'm going to be honest, man, and I'm diehard HBCU SWAC. Don't make a difference my whole life. But I can tell you this: some people can't see past the poster. They see the poster and they think that's a good idea, man. We got to learn to look past things. That's not a good idea, partnering up with somebody who have crapped on you and you going to places with schools like those Pac-12 schools gonna be in. Okay, all that is done. That's poaching, man. That's why they're not doing that for the HBCUs. If they truly care, if the one guy whose name is on the poster, if he truly cared and he claimed he was going to start a movement, they wouldn't have left. Everything is done for them. And either as black men, either as black people, we're gonna stand up and say, no, we're gonna stick together, we're gonna fight this and teach our young men how great it is to be here. Our young women, even you go to women's sports, how great it is to be with your own people and learn. Or we gonna kneel to the power like the other dude wants you to do. Bow your knee and say, y'all send us y'all scraps and we'll send our best players. It's according to what it's according to what we want to do. Either we're gonna stand and fight or you're gonna kneel to somebody else's power. And I don't think it's goddamn it, it's the 21st century. It's about time for black folks to say, you know what? We're gonna stand up. We done kneeling. But we have to teach our youth. Our youth see us. Our youth hear us. When our youth hear certain things, especially on social media, all the negative things that come from black people about an HBCU. See, this thing is way, like I tell people, man, it's deeper than just college football. It's deeper than HBCU because the HBCU is a microcosm of the black community, right? Absolutely. It's deeper than just that. And we have to be able to see. Thank you. I'm glad you agree.
No, I agree.
We have to be able to see the big picture. Aubrey Miller saw the big picture. Aubrey Miller understood when he went to Jackson State. We have to be able to see the bigger picture. It's not just that. Man, they gentrifying, they taking everything that we have. I call it extracting resources. It's resource and resource extracting. We're the greatest resource, the greatest commodity that ever came in this country. Do you ever think about how anybody can come to our community and take all of our talent, our intellectual talent, our athletic talent? Anybody can just come up and take all of our money. Then we complain. We got
to wrap it up though, Bakar. We got a few more calls, but I'm with you, man, 100%.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say this in a moment, but thanks for taking my call. Remember, all we got to do is start looking in the mirror and start seeing value in ourselves. That's
Absolutely.
it. Peace, one love.
Hey, peace. I appreciate it. Nah, man, he's right, man. He's right on a lot of phrase, but some folks may feel another different kind of way. What's going on in your room with Jeff?
What up, Jeff? This is Jay, man. What's going on?
Talk to me, Jay. What's on your mind? I see you in the comments, Jay. So let me know what's going on.
So, question for you.
Talk to me.
If the draft, we know it's going to keep going the way it's going. What is the likelihood, or what do you think? What is the likelihood of our top HBCUs in sports, anyways, getting together and going up maybe group of 5?
Well, for that to happen, there's certain requirements as far as like stadium capacity and attendance and things that makes it really, really tough for most HBCUs to move up to the FBS level. There have been some attempts, but obviously they've been unsuccessful. I think FAMU tried once and was unsuccessful, and there's just some major requirements and major funding that has to take place if you want to make that kind of jump.
Yeah, because I'm thinking that's gonna be like the only way at this point for our programs to get the eyes on the program, so the young men can actually be, drafted.
Yeah, I mean that is definitely a thing. Maybe this year was just an aberration, right? The year before you had 4 players, and we thought we were going to go from 4 to 6, or 4 to 5, or 4 to more, but then we go from 4 back down to 1. it definitely kind of hurt, man. So I just don't know what is going to be next. Jeremiah Trotter he wasn't too ecstatic, but it is what it is. But I appreciate you calling in though, Jay.
All right, man.
Appreciate it. Nah, like it's tough because I don't know. I don't know what it's going to take for it to continue. What's going on here with Jeff?
I like that stuff.
Hello.
Hello?
Hey, how you doing? Oh, they went ahead and hung up. So let's address this comment right here. And you can call in 727-731-8723. It said combine the MEAC and the SWAC. That's something I don't think will ever happen for a number of reasons. I'll tell you why. 1 second. What's going on your own with Jeff?
Hey, Jeff, this is Gabriel. One last point, man.
Talk to me.
Okay, everybody's wondering, what to do. How can we get eyes, on HBCUs, especially teams in the SWAC. Okay, I also say this right here too. Scheduling. We cannot use the SWAC, the other SWAC schools as out of conferences.
I agree with that.
Yeah. So we, hey, I'm not saying go and play Alabama, get your head busted. No, but a Southern Miss, University of Memphis, something like that. But the competition got to be better, and that's the only way the NFL is going to pay attention, because nobody knows who Campbell is. Jack State played them last year. Didn't nobody know who Campbell is. But anyway, that's a thought. Oh, and one last point, Deion Sanders was, he was talking about, he was upset because only one HBCU player was drafted. Didn't he just leave?
Ooh. If you want to go down that road, we can, man. But I appreciate you calling in, man. Appreciate it.
I'm just saying.
Hey.
All right, man. Have a good one, man.
Hey, you too. I appreciate it. I mean, that's a fact, though. It's a fact. Hey, what's going on? You're on with Jeff.
LC.
What's going on, man? What's on your mind?
The thing about the draft, what they're going to have to do is keep the black players from going to black schools. It's not that they don't know who they are. They're going to punish them. That's all I got to say.
What makes you feel that way? Not saying that you're wrong, but what makes you feel that is the case that's taking place?
Okay, you have black pro athletes coming back to the black school. They see that that's going to take a lot of their top black players away. And black folks are talking about that the black schools can't play. They can play. But they don't have the best of the crop.
Nah, that's a fact. Now, that is a fact, man. All right, I appreciate you calling in. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Now, so we made it actually 30 minutes without someone, but without a mention of Prime. But someone did bring up the fact that Prime talked about his displeasure with the NFL as far as only one player from an HBCU conference being drafted. And like I said, only 10 players from the FCS teams, period, were drafted. And to just, that goes into why people were so upset that he left, right? Like, now you see why people were so upset that he left. They were upset because they knew that if Deion's there's probably, I don't know how many get drafted this year. Maybe it's still just the one. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's still just the one. Maybe it's not. But next year, you would expect it to be more than what it was this year. And then the year after, that's Shadour's senior year, you would expect it to be at least one. At least he's going to be one. And who knows what type of transfers you would have got in. And so that goes into that narrative as well. That's why they were so upset when he decided to take himself to Boulder. And then what's happening in Boulder is a totally different kind of mess, because you've got him. He's got 60 spots. He's got 60 players he's kicked off the team. Some that he actually recruited since he's been there. He's told them sayonara, and that's creating a whole different kind of mess. As far as the HBCU thing and just the players in general, it's going to be tough for coaches for now, as of now, right now, unless those young, talented individuals continue to want to be the change that they don't currently see, right, from the lack of respect from the NFL or whoever, then it's going to be hard for said coaches, the SWAC, the MEAC, or wherever, FCS conferences, period, to get NFL type of talent. And not only to get them, because a lot of them are getting them, it's to get them to stay and to graduate and or declare from the draft from their institution. Do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that thumbs up button, by the way. Everybody do me a favor, smash that thumbs up button. If you want to call in, the number's on the screen, 727-731-8723, 727-731-8723. Because now, going into this upcoming season, and let's just focus on Jackson State right now, because they lost two of their best players on the day that the portal closed. To be able to replace a Nyles Gaddy, it's going to be tough. To be able to replace Debo Hayes, it's going to be tough. Now, they're going to bring in a lot of different guys. Someone mentioned the young man from North Alabama. They're going to bring in a lot of different guys to try and fill these roles, right? Now, the guy from North Alabama, unless you guys can show me something else, I don't know when's the last time he played football. I don't think he played this past season. And so I don't know how he could be extremely good. I just don't know. He's an unproven guy, whereas Nyles Gaddy was a proven guy. You can bring in some offensive linemen that have nice size and good stature, but Debo Hayes was a proven guy. I knew how good he was. I knew that he could play. And so those are some of the challenges you're going to face moving forward. Let me read some of your comments. The celebrity worship is let's see. Deion nobody said that. I don't know who said that. I don't know if you're talking about me or somebody in the comments. I'm not saying that you need him to be successful. Nobody ever said that. Nobody saying that at all. But I am saying that he was helping trend in the right direction. And you can't, but for people to say, well, he left the blueprint. No, you can't. You can't have a man tell me there's no one like him in the history of the world, and there's no one that can do what he's been able to do over the last 35 years, and then expect everybody at every black college to be able to do what he did. You've been telling me for 35 years he can't do what he does. So those are some of the interesting takeaways from the draft, from Nyles Gaddy hitting the portal. And so I told you guys that I thought that the defensive line, obviously I still think is one of the strengths of JSU's team. Losing Nyles Gaddy hurts that. I told you that the offensive line needed some help. Losing Debo Hayes hurts that. It hurts it. Losing a guy, one of your better offensive linemen, it hurts your team. Losing one of your better defensive linemen, it hurts your team. What's going on wrong with Jeff?
Bakari.
What's going on, Bakari? What's on your mind?
Look, I just had to call back. I wanted to say this, man. When people talking about why they don't go smaller schools, when black people had no choice but to go to HBCUs, black people, we were getting, HBCUs were getting players in the league, right? The sad thing to me is when I find black people, who's as if you see more black people want to see HBCUs fail, do white people have to pass a law and say, no Negroes in their school to make black people want to go to a black school? That's the sad thing about this, bro. That's one of the saddest things about this. White people have to make a law to make black people want to go deal with black people.
Bakari, I don't think it's necessarily that, Bakari. We're having a conversation. I think it's people, they're dangling a carrot in front of a lot of these folks, meaning the money. There's money to be made at some of these white institutions that, quite frankly, simply isn't there at the black colleges. Now, we know why the money isn't there, but it isn't there. And so that is the prohibited advantage that a white college, in an FBS conference has over a black college in an FCS conference.
And I agree. I wasn't even talking about the students then. I'm talking about how the people who don't even go, listen to the black who don't even go to a school.
Okay.
Because this is the thing. I know every black student is not going to go to an HBCU, and that don't take your blackness away because you don't go.
Yes.
But I do get tired of seeing black people at the damn bottom, man.
Yes.
We are, and that is a sad thing. We have so many people comfortable at the bottom, bragging on other institutions where 60 years ago they would have spit in your face if you try to walk in their door, and we act like it's great. I'm not knocking nobody, but especially none of these young people who making these decisions for whatever they're making. I'm talking about how all these adults would rather see one man succeed over a group of institutions when we didn't have nowhere to go. The institutions that educated our people. That's the sad thing, man. That's the sad thing, bro. And I just wanted to call you back and tell you that one more. Let me ask you a question. Is Philip Webb still there?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So I think Jay, I think we'll be okay. I ain't saying these two things don't hurt. It hurt, but hopefully, you know what, we'll be okay. And Jeff, man, peace and one love, my brother.
Hey, I appreciate you, Bakari, as always. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, Philip Webb is still there, but Philip Webb is unproven. Like I said, Nyles Gaddy was proven. We knew what Nyles was going to bring to the table. Not to say that Philip can't do that. We just have to see it. What's going on your own with Jeff? Hello. Oh, got out of here. Well, let's keep it moving. What's going on your own with Jeff?
Antoine Foster.
What's going on, Antoine? What's on your mind?
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing all right. How about yourself?
I'm doing pretty good. So the first thing I think that needs to be done is, as far as the draft, it's the exposure. And they talking about Deion made the blueprint. No. The blueprint is in every other conference. All they have to do, reach out to Roku, and you do free. You make a free channel, and that's your exposure right there.
Make a free what?
Look at the deal.
Make a free what? What did you say? A free what?
Make free channels. You partner with Roku. You make it free for everyone.
Now,
you do a split with the ad revenue.
Are you saying to show football games or to show like what are we showing for free on Roku?
Man, you can show all athletics. You can show everything.
Okay. I think that's for the SWAC specifically. I think that's a deal that they've worked out something with HBO Go. Are you saying that they're dropping the ball there? What's your thoughts on that?
Meaning, I have been on HBCU Go. Now.
HBCU Go, yeah, my bad. I said that wrong.
Yes, I have been on there. I've checked it out. Production is great, but you're talking about when you want to get all of your schools on, you have everybody do a free channel. It's stuff you're already doing with your students at school. You're producing the games, right? The schools are producing the games, right?
Yeah, for ESPN Plus, yes, they are. Not for HBCU Go. No, they're not. HBCU Go has their own satellite truck and everything, but for ESPN Plus, they use the school stuff.
Okay, but what about it's the ownership. So who owns the content?
From what I understand,
HBCU Go.
From what I understand, the schools do. The conference does. It might be a joint. I don't want to get into the weeds. I don't want to say anything that I don't know because I don't know. But from what I understand, it's the schools. The conference owns it.
Okay. All right. I mean, I'm just checking because I'm thinking it does needs to be more games. I think it's too many games on that ESPN Plus. They're giving ESPN all their money, making ESPN all of their money. The money needs to be going to the SWAC.
Absolutely. Got some more calls, man, but I appreciate you, Antoine.
All right, thank you.
No problem, man. No problem. And I think that is something that those are some questions that will need answers come this fall. What's going on your own with Jeff?
Good evening, Jeff. This is Willie.
What's
man,
going
thank
on,
you
Willie?
for taking my call.
As always, thank you for calling.
Man, I don't know what I don't know where to begin. First, I'm gonna say like this. I'm trying to be a good caller. A 4.5 40 A 4.540 is a 4.540, whether it's at the HBCU or PWI.
That's a
A
fact.
4.440 is a 4.440. Whether you're at the PWI, that kid from Alabama State, the defensive back, Isaiah Land, there's no way that Aubrey Miller Jr. should have went below the 5th round. You mean to tell me? But see, now people don't look at the integral parts. Yo, the NFL is a business. I understand that, but you're not going to tell me a 3rd string academic All-American from a PWI is better than a SWAC player of the year. You're not going to tell me that. You're not going to tell me that. That's foolishness for you to even say some stuff like that. Then, now, I want you to take this with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not giving praise to Slime, but what Slime said, it wasn't people. You know, Shannon Sharp and them, they taking what he's saying out of context. He wasn't talking about race, because you got white folks, you got white kids and Spanish kids going to HBCUs. We have a kicker at Jackson State that I think by the time he finished, he should be drafted like a Ray Guy. I mean, you know, this boy already hitting 40-yard field goal. So, you know, what he said was, you know, he was talking about the exposure of HBCUs, and Shannon took the stuff out of context and started talking about race. But you're not going to tell me out of 47 players, you only have one that was able to be drafted. I just looked at the draft. I just looked at what was drafted.
Yeah.
Like a couple of years ago, Johnny Manziel. They knew that boy wasn't no NFL quarterback. His hands couldn't even fit around the ball. But they give these people, man. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm 56. I really stopped watching NFL. I like college football, and I love baseball, but I really stopped watching NFL when I was like 27 years old because of the politics and the bullshit that's involved with it. I mean, they do it time and time again. They draft our players at the lowest round where they can pay them the lowest salary, and then you have to work like a slave to get yourself up.
Yeah.
Time and time again. The only players that's in my time frame that was good enough to play on the PWIs and they didn't go was Jerry Rice and Steve McNair. And those were some hell of a players. But thank you for taking my call, Jeff. I just had to get that out. And keep up the good work, my brother.
I got you.
Stay on top of it.
Hey, appreciate it as always, Willie. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Now it's gonna be interesting to see how some of this stuff happens moving forward. What's going on? You're on with Jeff.
What's going on? It's Jeff.
What's going on?
Hey.
What's on your mind?
Hello?
Yeah, what's on your
Jeff, man. It hurt. You so Nyles and Debo hurt. But my thing is, it ain't always all green on the other side. Y'all run into these PWIs. You was already there. You running back to these PWIs, and you know the dime a dozen of you. If you would have stayed at Jackson State, you would have been that dude, first team or FCS, first team SWAC. Now you just another one, and it may not pan out how you want it. So it's like I don't know, running to these PWIs. But what's up with us signing all these last chance you dudes, man? We've been signing dudes. I mean, the last couple dudes we signed, they ain't played since damn near 2010. I mean, we signing dudes. We last chance you university. Dude's been hurt since 2015. Hey, come join the roster.
No, it's funny because that's how I felt. Like I'm laughing because I don't know about all of them, but this last guy, I was kind of like, I don't know if he's played since 2020. Like, I know he had graduated, and a lot of times coaches look for players that graduate because they can come in and play right away. But I hadn't seen him log a stat in 21 or 22. So it did have me kind of worried a little bit about this latest guy that they went ahead and got the commitment. So that's why I laughed when you said that.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, man, Philip Webb just got to step up. That's your position now.
Yeah.
Hey, let's show what you got, baby.
Yeah, absolutely. Him and a few others, man. Appreciate you calling in, man.
No doubt.
Hey, appreciate it. Nah, man, like that's the thing. Now it's once again, it's not that JSU still can't be at the top of the SWAC. It's not that JSU still can't be at the top of the SWAC East. It's now that JSU can't still go and play win a SWAC championship and play in the Celebration Bowl. But now you're gonna have to get some contributions from some guys that we will have to see how good they really are, how good they really can play, what they're gonna be able to bring to the table, both on the offensive line and on the defensive line. The defensive line, which I still think is a strength of the team, just took a little hit. It took a little sting. You know what I mean? The offensive line, which already needed some help, just got a little two-piece. Boom, boom. And now some guys that just go out to see what you're going to do. What are you made of? What are you going to be able to do when your name is called? What are you going to be able to do when your number is called? What are you going to be able to do when it's your time to be out on the field? Or can you go out and get guys out of the portal to replace some of the talent that you just had? He said, we're talking about that. No, it's not that. It's not that he was James Houston, Bishop. I'm not going to sit here and act like he was James Houston. He was not James Houston. Right? He was not James Houston. But what I will say is you were hoping to get a big year out of him. You were hoping to get, can I say 10 sacks? Now, James had 16 and a half. Didn't expect to get that. But can I dare say you expected to get 10 sacks? Maybe 12? If he had a spectacular year, 13 or 14? But to lose 10 sacks, to lose potentially 12 sacks, potentially, so hypothetically, that's tough. That's a lot. Like that's losing a lot. To lose Debo, a starting offensive lineman, on a unit that was kind of shaky already, that's a lot. To lose a unit where you may be starting a quarterback who is more of a statue a little bit, doesn't run around a whole lot, more of a prototypical, pocket passer, and to lose one of your starting offensive linemen, that's a lot. So that's what I'm saying. It says Gaddy and Debo panic. They will go to FBS and still be. I don't know. I mean, I wish the guys the best. I hope they're able to make some plays and land on a roster with a team that hopefully is able to use them and they're able to contribute. But these were big losses. Just like when I came on here and said Savion was a big loss, it was a big loss. When I came on here and said, X, Y, and Z was a big loss. Now, some of the guys was like, okay, it is what it is. You lost them in December. It is what it is. But to lose guys in May or late April, right at the start of May, that's tough. That is tough. Well, that's all we have. That's all I have for today. Once again, my name is Jeff Lightsy Jr. You're tuned into the Victory Formation Sports Show right here on Jeff Lightsy Jr. YouTube, Facebook, and wherever you get your podcasts. Do me a favor. Hit that thumbs up button. Like this broadcast. 1, 2, 3, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Like, share, and subscribe. And I will see you guys next time. Also, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Actually, before I get out of here, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at JLightsy7. That's on Instagram and Twitter at JLightsy7. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.